What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Series 12 team building video, and this time we're taking a look at Galarian-Moltres. Okay, so this was requested by not just one viewer, but actually a couple of viewers from my DMs, and I think now is the time in Series 12 where now we can actually use the burb, the dark burb, right? And when I say dark burb, I mean the little dark burb, right? Because the Yveltal is the main big boss daddy dark burb, right? And now we have the Galarian-Moltres here. So Moltres actually hasn't been really used all that much in Series 12, just because there's a shield dog named Zacian, which also has a fairy move called Play Rough. So it's been a little bit tricky to use Moltres, and it's also not quite as fast as you would want it to be, as opposed to something like a Zapdos. But that being said, you know, I think it's been overlooked. I honestly think it's been overlooked, and I think it should be on some teams. All right, and the thing is, like, it has a niche role, right? Like, you're a dark flying type, which means you get max airstream, which is always nice. And you are a pretty nice counter to Calyrex Shadow Rider, you know, and then, you know, even like the Urshifu stuff. That being said, you have to watch out for Zacian, you have to watch out for Regieleki, Kyogre's Run Thunder. There's ice beams from various places, so it's always a little tricky to try and use Moltres in a dual restricted format. But that being said, it is very much playable, okay, and I think it has been slept on. So there's a couple teams that have used it. I know Pado's used it. You know, the very strong Italian player with his Zacian, and that was very good in the regional. Okay, but I'm gonna think of a different way to try and use Moltres in a very similar fashion. But you know, the one thing I will say is, because it has, first of all, because it has like Hurricane, you know, which is one of its stabs, I think, you know, one thing to make this like really accurate is just to, you know, obviously just put it with Kyogre, right? So, you know, Kyogre is really good here with the Moltres, and there's some synergy here because, you know, Kyogre doesn't want to take those grass type attacks with something like a Venusaur or something like a Rillaboom, and then, you know, the Moltres just, you know, walls that relatively well, right? And then of course the Hurricane is accurate in the range. So I think there's synergy there, and now you have a max airstream user next to Kyogre, which is very nice, where you can make it very fast and then hit hard with those water spouts and be, you know, extra fast with the Ogre, right? But the one thing I will say is, okay, you got two things weak to electric attacks, so you better have something like a Raichu on this team or some electric immunity, and we'll get to that in a second. But one thing that I also like with Moltres and Kyogre here is something along the lines like Solgaleo, right? Now Zacian would probably be the better fit, but then why would you use this team when you can just use Pado's team, right? I like this three as a core, right? So let me just go ahead and reveal those just right off the bat. Kyogre, Solgaleo, and Moltres, right? So the Moltres likes to come in those Calyrex matchups and those Lunala matchups, right? Because Solgaleo doesn't like Shadow Rider, doesn't like Lunala sometimes, right? Unless you have the speed control on it, but even then, Lunala is very, very bulky. But the Moltres can help you against that, right? So because of your dark typing. So good synergy here. And then also with Solgaleo, because you have something like Earthquake, which is something that you would normally run on it, you have the option to Earthquake next to your Moltres, you know, and then just chip things down, and then Moltres can clean up with like either its own spread move with Fiery Wrath. That's Feather Dance, oh boy. Right, so you got double spread move, actually triple spread move with Fiery Wrath, you know, Water Spout, and then / Origin Pulse, and then Earthquake, right? So you got three Pokemon here with spread moves, which is really, really nice, right? And then another option is also, again, you know, you can Airstream, make Solgaleo fast, and then just click Earthquake on things, and be totally fine with that damage output. And the one thing I will also say with Moltres and Kyogre is that, again, when you Dynamax, you have Max Darkness plays, right, which drops special defenses, and then Kyogre can just come in and capitalize off of those special defenses. Click Water Spout, click Origin Pulse, click something, and things just die, right, after those special defense drops, right? And then you can even make your own Moltres deal more damage the next turn, right, because you're a special attacker in itself. So these three are very, very, very much playable, right? So then from here, like I said, how do we cover with some of the other weaknesses, and how do we cover for, like, you know, some other common meta threats, right? So one thing that I do want to consider putting on here is something like a Landorus, right? So Landorus, gives you that electric immunity that you need for Moltres and Kyogre. Gives Solgaleo an option to pivot out in case there's a ground type attack coming in. You have that with Moltres, but Landorus can also do that for you. Landorus is pretty good against like Zacian stuff. You can intimidate it, you can max quake it, you can threaten it that way. Another Pokemon that you can Earthquake next to. And then Landorus can also Earthquake next to Moltres, by the way. So there's some good synergy here. And you know, and the Sun matchup, you're going to need a little bit more help, but you might not even bring Moltres to the Sun matchup, honestly, right? It all depends. If it's Shadow Rider Groudon, then you bring the Moltres. If it's like standard Zacian Groudon, then you bring the Landorus, right? So this is all what this is we got some options here. Okay, so we got these 4. All right, now, you know, one thing I do like on this team is like we got some bulky mons, right? Maybe Landorus not so much, but like I want to make that bulk even stronger and, you know, give me something to slow down those Tailwind teams, right? Because if you look at this team, these are like mid-speared mons. You know, they're going to struggle against Tailwind stuff, right? So you're going to have to like slow that down a little bit. And of course, we're going to go with the Clover special. We're going to go with Grimmsnarl here. So something like Solgaleo, Grimmsnarl, and Moltres, this is even used in like a dual restricted format, right? So, you know, set up those screens, be bulky. And Moltres very much appreciates that bulk, right? Because then you can like not take too much damage and still get into Berserker range, and then, you know, just dominate from there, right? So I do like this spread, this Pokemon here, and then it gives you something for like Palkia stuff and then Yveltal stuff, which is something again Solgaleo doesn't like to deal with. Even Landorus to a degree doesn't want to deal with Yveltal sometimes just because of a foul play. But if you got Grimmsnarl here, you're kind of chilling. And just another thing to help against the Shadow Rider matchup, right? So I do like Grimmsnarl here. And it helps you stall Trick Room turns, especially in the Ice Rider matchup. Can't really bring Landorus so much to that one, so you're going to have to really rely on outbulking, you know, that kind of matchup, and then just stalling out that TR, and then getting either the Kyogre and Moltres to in position where they're behind screens, they can Dynamax, and then, you know, take over the game. Okay? One thing I also like here with this 5 is because Solgaleo has Dynamax, right? You can make Kyogre bulky and pass down those Max Steel Spike and Max Quake boosts. And then if the Kyogre is already behind screens, then we're in business, right? Same thing with the Moltres, right? If you can pass on Steel Spike and Quake defense, special defense boost with your Dynamax, you know, and if there's screens already involved, then, you know, Moltres also becomes like quote unquote unkillable. But then from here, where else do we want to go? So I think you have a couple options, right? I think something like, you know, either maybe like Incin. You know, you can go Incin here. I think it makes sense. Just another Intimidator, some fake out option. You know, we got 3 dark types here. I do like that. I think Regieleki also makes sense. You know, with the Focus Sash, you know, you can lead Aleki Kyogre, Aleki Moltres, you know, go for Electro Web speed control, and then, you know, just go for your chip damage with your Water Spouts, or, you know, your Fiery Rats, which, and again, this is another Pokemon that can benefit from those Max Darkness drops. So I think this works too. But I also like the Amoonguss here, to be fair. Just something else that if we can get redirection support, because believe it or not, there's like 4 Pokemon here that really like redirection. Because the way we're going to play Moltres is with Nasty Plot, okay? And Amoonguss sets that up relatively well. Same thing with Landorus with Swords Dance. And then Kyogre, we're going to go with another old Clover special with Solgaleo here. We're going to go with the Calm Mind Ogre, which means, you know, Calm Mind Protects are going to be a play. Amoonguss can also help set that up. And then Solgaleo here, the way we're going to do this, it's going to be Trick Room, right? So, that's in the wrong slide. I like Trick Room being in the last slide here. Trick Room. Okay, so I do like Trick Room here. Actually, wait, there's going to be a move there. I'm going to put, I think we're going to go like Protect or something. So I think Trick Room is fine here. Sorry. Yeah, so like there's so many ways you can use Amoonguss on this team. Like you can, you know, set up Trick Room with the Solgaleo, you can set up Swords Dance, Calm Minds, Nasty Plots, maybe position it in a late game behind screens where like you're in position to like spore things. You know, really nice to have on the team. But like I said, depending on you, I think those 3 options are good, whether it's like Incineroar, Regieleki, and then here's the Amoonguss. I think all 3 are fine, but I'm gonna go with Redirection just because like I'm sticking to my fundamentals, right? I got Intimidate, got Redirection. got some speed control, I've got some screens, you know, all these little what I call VGC condiments that, you know, you don't always need, but are very much appreciated. They make your team a little bit better. And that's why, like, you have the option. Do you want the Ensign, the Regieleki, or the Among Us? Do you want ketchup, mustard, or relish, right? They're all good on a hot dog. You don't need all of them. But, you know, it's just depending on you and what you're trying to go for, right, with your hot dog. So that's how I like to view it in terms of team building here. So, yeah, this is the 6 that we're going to be running with, right? So let's just go ahead and reveal the GIFs. We've got Grimmsnarl, Landorus, and Among Us for the other 3 slots. And like I said, the main core of the team is going to be the Solgaleo, the Kyogre, and the Galarian-Moltres. All right, so now let's go into the main part of the video where we're going to show how to do the EV spreads. But first, we'll do the movesets and the item choices, right? So let's get onto it. All right, so here we are. We're going to look at Moltres now. So we said we're going to be running Fire Wrath and Hurricane. Again, Hurricane, very good synergy with Kyogre in the rain because you make it 100% accurate. Again, I did say we're going to go Greedy, Clover Tech, Nasty Plot is back, and of course Protect here. Now, that being said, I have seen Assault Vest variants where, like, you have something like Snarl, all right, and Sucker Punch. I have seen stuff like this, and I think it's fine. I think this is a good Assault Vest set. So if you like the Assault Vest Moltres on this team, which I think is very, very good, might even be better than what I'm showing you, but you know, I'm trying to play it a little bit differently. This is a set I would go with if you're trying to use the Assault Vest, but if you're trying to go with like Nasty Plot stuff, then you need Protect, of course, right? And then from here, what's our item of choice? We have a few items. We can go stuff like Lumberry to prevent, like, you know, paralysis stuff, you know, sleep stuff. We can go with Life Orb for extra damage, right? Because, you know, Moltres is a very good damage dealer. We can go like Wakanberry for the electric attacks. So those are a couple good options, but I like the goggles, honestly. I think goggles are very, very nice, especially on its, you know, just resisting like residual damage, like from Max Rockfall and Max Hailstorm, which we definitely have on this team with Landorus and Kyogre. So I think that's pretty good. But yeah, definitely goggles is very good against like Venusaur stuff, and then Among Us stuff, and then, you know, that frees up the slot for Landorus since we don't have to put that there. But Landorus usually we still run like Lumberry and White Herb stuff, so yeah, either way. But yeah, from here, so how do we want to do this EV spread here? So I see a base 90, right? Anytime I see base 90s, means, all right, I can't outspeed Zapdos and Charizard, right? But I can, if I go to an investment like this with 112, and then, you know, then you become a super bulky Moltres, because then you have all these EVs to spread into your special attack stat and then your HP, defense, and special defense. All right, so we can go that route, but I want to be a little bit faster than this. All right, I still think this is like a little too slow for what I want to do. But, you know, and then another threat is like the Thundurus, right? Because like Thundurus threatens Moltres, threatens Kyogre, and even threatens Landorus to a degree, right? Unless you can outspeed it. But even then, you know, you better hope you have Grimmsnarl as the lead. So here we go. So what do we want for Thundurus, right? So I think just going to like this speed stat and actually go one above it, just to outspeed those speed creepers. So we'll outspeed Thundurus if we have a +1 airstream, you know, and then we can potentially survive like that max lightning attack, get our berserk proc going, and then, you know, just KO right back with the max darkness play. And then that being said, of course, we are going to be running Modest. So one thing I also like with Modest here is I can go second EV bump here, which is right, this is the first one with 143, right, with 76 investment. And then I'm going to go to like 156 here, the second bump, right? So just to be dealing a little bit more damage out of our Moltres. I don't really need special defense here. You know, we're very bulky as it is. I'd rather just put 1 point in it. And then from here, you know, I see I have a nice even number, which is good. Because if Landorus or Solgaleo go for their Max Quake stuff, I have an even number, which optimizes the boost I would gain from those Max Quake boosts, right? So there's that. Now from here, my HP stat, I still got 264 EVs to play with. I'm going to go here and go to 191 as a stat. Now this normally would be to optimize sand and hail chip damage. All right, we already have the goggles anyway, so that kind of defeats the purpose of that, but this is still a good number, just because with this remaining defense bulk investment and this HP stat, I can survive the Zacian Behemoth Blade with either Intimidate or a Reflect, right? So there's that damage calc for you. So that's what this spread does. You hit the bump, you outspeed Thundurus at +1, and you survive the Zacian Behemoth Blade, you know, with the help of Intimidate or Reflect. And we'll show that with the damage calc when we get to that section of the video, but this is our Moltres spread this time around. Now, that being said, if you prefer a little bit more bulk than this, then what I would do is this. I would drop down to 76, which is the first bump over here, and then you can invest more in your defense bulk like this, right? And just go to 140. And this is still a nice even number where you can optimize the max steel spike boost. So if you don't care for too much special attack on the Moltres, you can just drop it down like this and just put more in the defense bulk. And this will help against like the adamantzations, right? So if you care more about that, then I would go with something like this. Okay, but for now, we're just going to drop it to 60 and just put it back in the special attack stuff. All right, so let's go to Kyogre here. Actually, let's go Solgaleo first. I think this makes more sense to do Solgaleo than the Kyogre. So Solgaleo, here's the thing. Normally, this line likes a weakness policy set, right? Because, you know, it just does so much in the Dynamax format. But we don't really have a weakness policy proper this time around. Now, that being said, I can Earthquake myself. I can put Foul Play on this thing, and then, you know, after setting up Trick 'em, I can self-Foul Play myself. I can do that. But I want to just exert pressure right from the get-go, and on this type of team, oh Jesus, I don't want to do that. Hold on a second there. I clicked something wrong. I'm just gonna click Life Orb here. All right, yeah, like we've used Life Orb Solgaleo before. I think it just makes sense also for this time around. So here's the thing. Life Orb just allows you to put on the immediate pressure right from the get-go, and then you don't have to rely on self-proccing your own policy. And then from here, you know, just Sunsteel Strike, your stab move, and then obviously you want Protect over here in the last slot. Now, if you really feel like you don't really want Protect because, you know, you don't really have the weakness policy, you can do that. You can go for something like Psychic Fangs or Rock Slide. Those are all very good moves, but, you know, this is VGC doubles, right? Protect is too good, so I leave it there. So before we just like do all the EV spreads, I think we'll just go like the items, just like what we've done in the past. So I'll go back to the EV spreads in a second, but let's just go with the moves. So this is going to be a Calmine Ogre again, so it's just like the Calmine Ogre that we've used, I think, the rental for June, I believe. Or actually July. Yeah, we'll check up on that. But anyway, Ice Beam, really good against opposing Landorus. And then here's the leftovers. So like, again, you're going for this endgame option with Ogre, right? So you're trying to benefit off of those Steel Spike and Quake boosts. Go for Calm Mind and alternating Protect so you can outlast special attackers in the endgame. If you're hiding behind screens, even better. Now, Origin Pulse is kind of funny when it misses. I think we had a video on it where we used this exact kind of team. Not like with the Moltres, but like there was a video where we used Solgaleo and Calmine Ogre. We won the games, right? It's just Origin Pulse was like 3 for 7, which is funny, but, you know, still good. Landorus. Okay, so standard set here, Earthquake, Fly, you know, Max Quake, Max Airstream, very nice. Rock Slide, good for Charizard stuff, and then here, Swords Dance, you know, we have the immunities, okay? That being said, what you can also do is run Protect here, okay, if you like that option, and then you can do something like White Herb over here, or you can do something like the Lumberry. I think both are very good items depending on what you want to do, but if you like this, then that's fine too. I think for our build, we're just going to go Lumberry. I do like the Lumberry, honestly. Like, I just don't like getting burned. You know, it's not fun. You know, those Calyrex Shadow Riders are running Will-O-Wisp. So, same with those Mimikyus and whatnot. So, I think Lumberry is good. And it helps for Venusaur stuff. So, you know, we do have the Moltres for that. But, like, sometimes you don't want to bring the Moltres in that Sun game. So, sometimes you do want the Landorus as opposed to the Moltres. So, I do like the Landorus here. Jolly, max speed is what we want to do with this Landorus. And then from here, just a little bit of investment, you know, 175 HP stat, optimizing that hail chip damage that you would take from Max Hailstorm, and then honestly the rest can just go into attack like this, you know, totally fine. Grimmsnarl, yeah, you know, we haven't really changed our Grimmsnarl spread in Series 12. I think maybe we changed it like twice, just depending on the team. But I very much enjoy this Grimmsnarl spread. It has been, I have had no complaints with our Grimmsnarl spread. And again, if you are new to the channel and you don't know what this does, it's meant to survive the Zacian Behemoth Blade with Reflect Up after an Intimidate swap in. So that is the goal with our Grimmsnarl spread here, which I'm going to show you right now in a second. Yeah, something like this. There it is. Okay. So, Spirit Break, of course, you know, good stat move. New to special attackers, not many of them, especially when they Dynamax want to take it. It's very detrimental. Light Screen, Reflect, of course, and then Scary Face. Now, this is an old Grimmsnarl spread that we've been using. You know, we've been using a lot of Trick, Thunder Wave, Grimmsnarl with like Iron Ball, which is a very fun and a very good set. You could even put that here, technically. I think it's quite good. But more on that another time. Among Us, Focus Sash, you know, I want to live that one big attack so I can set up my Trick Room, set up my Swords Dance, set up my Calm Minds or Nasty Plot. You know, either way, we have a lot of greedy tech moves on here, like greedy Calm Mind, greedy Swords Dance, greedy Nasty Plot. Hey man, this is my kind of team. All right, if you've been a follower of the channel, you know this is my kind of style. So Rage Powder, Spore. Now, okay, Protect is in the last slot. Now, here's the option with your last move. So Gastrodon can be a nuisance to Kyogre, right? And we don't really have a grass move for it. So what you can do is, again, run Seed Bomb, which is nice against that. And because it's physical, Kyogre doesn't take it as well as something like an Energy Ball. Same thing with stuff like Finny, or even like other bulky water types. But then Gastrodon can like Dynamax and then go for max Quake Boost, and then you're not killing anymore with the energy ball, right? So I think Seed Bomb makes a little bit more sense. However, that being said, look at all the Pokemon that would enjoy Pollen Puff, right? Moltres, if you get below that threshold for Berserk, you can just heal yourself back with Pollen Puff and then get into Berserk again, and then you have your longevity. Same with Kyogre. Like, you're just taking damage, you know, trying to set up those Calm Minds, and then you just heal yourself again with like Pollen Puff, and then you're kind of chilling. Same thing Solgaleo, another one that very much appreciates the healing. So like, even though you're gonna lose the grass coverage, I still think you can overpower the Gastrodon with what you have, right? And you can always have that end game where you can Calm Mind and then click Ice Beam on Gastrodon and it just dies anyway. Or you can chip it, you know, with either the Moltres and Solgaleo, and then, you know, have that option for the Ice Beam, right? I mean, the thing is, Gastrodon's not killing you if you're setting up Calm Minds. So that's the idea there. And therefore, I'm just going to go Pollen Puff. I just think it's a little bit better. But at the time in the video when I was testing it, I was running Seed Bomb and I had no complaints. But Pollen Puff, I'm sure none of you will have any complaints either. Okay, so that's the rest of the items and the movesets. I think we got them all. So now let's go back here and let's talk about our UV spreads. Okay, so how are we going to do Solgaleo on this kind of team? So I think what we want to do is actually be, even though we're Trick Room, still be a relatively fast Solgaleo, just so that, you know, I don't always have to rely on Trick Room and I can still not click it and exert, you know, big hitting moves right from the get-go, and I don't have to worry about setting up. So that being said, I think what you want to do is always outspeed Landers on this type of team, right? And that means going Jolly, okay? That means doing this. And you see that Landers' speed is 157 and Solgaleo is 158. So if you're going against an opposing Landers, you're going to go first. You can get that Steel Spike boost off, and they're not going to Quake you, right? Because they're afraid that you have the weakness policy. Now, granted, if it's like +2 after Swords Dance, I would not Dynamax Solgaleo. I would reposition myself and hide behind these screens until the max is done. But like, if you can like outspeed it and just go right for damage, hard-hitting damage with this Life Orb, that just helps you in the end game, right? And then you can boost up the Ogre and the Moltres, you know, potentially. So I do like a fast Landers, even though there is Trick Room. Now, how would I finish this? So I just want to have a little bit of HP just to optimize my Life Orb chip, right? Because 219 divided by 10 is 21.9, which rounds down to 21. So you're taking only 21 damage of HP per turn with your Life Orb chip. If you go to 220 like this, now you're taking 22 damage per turn. Why would you do that to yourself? So, you know, just make it easy on yourself and just undercut the threshold like this. And then from here, you just need, you know, just a point in the bulk either way, and then just go straight for 236 investment, hitting this 187 benchmark, which is the benchmark you hit for weakness policy anyway. But now we have the life orb, so we're going to be doing more damage as opposed to not having the weakness policy, even though it's not procced. So now that being said, if you are someone that says, you know what, I don't like my fast Solgaleo, I want it to be slower and bulkier but still hard hitting, sure, I can do that. If that is you, then what I recommend is this. Same thing like what the Moltres is going for, but not speed tying it. So I still want to outspeed Thundurus after a +1 airstream, but don't speed tie the Moltres. So I think what you can do is just go to 122 like this. Where are you? Oh, this is Jolly, that's why. Let's go Adamant. Yeah, if you want to just do this, honestly, this is also okay. Or if you want to do this, you know, where you outspeed your own Moltres like this is also good. I'll leave it like this at the moment. But again, I can still do, where's my investment? Right here. So 180 investment, Adamant Nature, second EV bump. And then from here, you can go like this to 229. Actually, we'll go to 239. And then 60 investment like this. Okay, and then the rest just gets dumped into defense. So the idea here is that you can still take the Calyrex Astral Barrage, right? Now, granted, you do have the option of Light Screen, but still, you know, it's still good to have this much special defense investment to take that Focus Sash Astral Barrage, right? So if you want to be a slow, bulky Solgaleo with Trick Room, then I would just do something like this, okay? But I still like the faster Solgaleo just because I don't have to click Trick Room, and then I can still go for immediate damage and immediate pressure right from the beginning. So I'm just going to bring this back to add Jolly and just, again, reset my spreads. So I was at 219, right? So like this, 187, there you are, and then just bring these back to 1 point, and then the rest just goes into here. There it is. So there's our Jolly spread. Okay, Ogre, this is the bulkiest thing that we're going to have on the team. This one just gets this much investment. That's it. All right, you are meant to be super bulky in the end game. Okay, where like your job is just to hide behind the screens and Calm Mind boost and be chilling, right? Actually, do I have like the format right in here? Yeah, I actually, that's okay. So 112 will outspeed like those base 100s after an airstream, but I want to outspeed those speed creepers, so I'm going to go to 113 here. And then special attack investment, again, 156 just to go to 209. You want an odd number here, not just 1 point like this, because this doesn't optimize the Calm Mind boost that you would get or the Max Quake boost. So I'm just going to go to 12, and now this is optimized. And then from here, I want to go to 132. And this will, again, optimize my leftovers recovery. 191 is for the weather chip, but again, I have the leftovers, right? So I don't want to undercut for leftovers. I want to actually hit the threshold, right? I want to actually get a perfect recovery, right? And if you're confused as to what I'm saying, just take out your calculator. 192 divided by 16, right? Because you're getting 1/16 of your health back. That comes out to a perfect 12. So you're getting 12 HP back per turn. Whereas if you try to optimize for weather, now you're getting 11.9375, which doesn't exist. You're getting 11 damage back, 11 health back per leftovers tick, but you don't want that. You want a perfect 12. And then honestly from here, yeah, this is actually the better view. You're just gonna go the rest into your defensive bulk like this. Okay, so nice even numbers for Solgaleo and Max and Landorus boosts, and also Calm Mind boost. And with this bulk, especially with like, you know, even Intimidate and Light Screen stuff, you know, you can survive a lot of Rillaboom Grassy Glides, all right? And even Regieleki stuff can't really kill you, especially behind Light Screen and or Calm Mind, or those boosts. Again, this is one of my favorite things about Kyogre. You can still do so much damage. Like 209 special attack stat is still very strong, and then you have the rain for it, so that's good. And then now you're just building off its bulk in Trick Room, and that's very, very good. All right, Landorus. Oh yeah, we did Landorus already. I forgot. Oh wait, I think we did everything except for the Amoonguss. Okay, all right. So with the Amoonguss, same spread, 236 investment. just to get it to 219 stat. This is just to optimize the regenerator boost that you would get if you pivot out, because you know you want 1/3 of your max HP. So 219 is that number. Then from here, I just want relax. Honestly, relax nature is good, and then 0 speed, just so that you're the faster thing in Trick Room, right? So hit the second bump here. You see how you go from 119 to 121. Here's that second bump, and then special defense the rest of the way. Just being a bulky shroom, I like relax more than sassy on the Among Us, just so that I can take those behemoth blades better, or those Incineroar flare blitz a little bit better, as opposed to sassy. But to each their own, right? So yeah, this is it. Let's just go ahead and make this paste real quick, and just some thoughts here. So cool team. I like Moltres, Solgaleo, Kyogre like this. I think it makes a lot of sense. Again, if you're more happy with the AV set on the Moltres, you know, definitely go that route. I think it's a very good set. But I'm just trying to play a little bit more aggressively, right? Because that's what I want out of my Moltres. Lander, same idea. I just realized that's Protect. Let me go back here. I want Swords Dance. There we go. All right, close this. And let's remake that one more time. Yeah, Swords Dance. That's the way to go. Scary Face on Grimmsnarl. So there's your speed control. We have speed control with the Trick Room also on the Solgaleo. And then we get a bunch of Airstreamers with Moltres and the Landers, right? So relatively good team. I think you can win a bunch of games on ladder with it. So let me just show you a couple damage calcs, and then we'll just test run it and a couple of stuff on Showdown, just so that you get the gist of it on how to use the squad, you know, for the first time. But yeah, let's look at the damage calcs. Okay, so here's the Moltres versus Zacian stuff. So like you can see with Behemoth Blade, we do live the Jolly Behemoth Blade, but Playoff just absolutely wrecks us, right? And Reflect, that still doesn't really help you. But if you can get Reflect and Intimidate, all right, then you're in business a little bit. But you would have to rely on like your Dynamax. And what's cool with this though is Play Rough is always going to hit you for 50% with this spread behind Reflect. So that's going to get you in Berserk range, by the way. So that's really cool if it's Jollization that can do that just with like the bare minimum. So then I'll be getting a +1 boost, which I very much appreciate and say thanks. Not that I like losing half my health right off the bat, but like it's still, you know, cool to know that I can get in Berserk range behind Reflect, and live to tail and deal out big damage, right? And of course, I do know that I can live Behemoth Blade without Reflect, so that's also much appreciated. Let's look at like Regieleki stuff. So if it's a Regieleki, a standard one, that's just Focus Sash. Where are you? Standard, yeah, there we are. Standard Eleki, but let's go like no item because we want Focus Sash. Like you can lift Thunderbolt, right? Thunderbolt, believe it or not, will just do 49%, which is, oh, that's for like that. No, sorry. This makes more sense. I was trying like, how did Thunderbolt do so little? Okay, yeah, so I can also lift the Thunderbolt with this spread as well. And then if I have Light Screen, I'm still okay. I can get into Berserk Threshold and still be okay. So there's that. Now, if the Eleki Dynamaxes, you know, and just goes for like max lightning stuff, now granted with Life Orb it's going to do more damage, so I'll account for that. Okay, this is Thunderbolt off of max lightning. Okay, so 92% at max. Ouch, but like doesn't kill me, so I'm still okay in that regard. And that's really all you're trying to look for here. Now let's go to Thundurus here, just because Life Orb Thundurus is a pain in the neck, of course, for a lot of people, and we have to always be careful with the Life Orb Thundurus. Okay, so max lightning, no reflect, both of us are max, doesn't kill, so that's good to know. Okay, and we'll get in Berserk range with reflect up. I have a chance to take 2. Okay, it depends on like the roll. But like the fact that I can take 2 is kind of cool. All right, so if I have to, I will max it, and I can live 1 if it means I can get an Airstream off of something to potentially KO it right back. But good to know that I can do this. And those are the 3 things you want to look at for, like Thundurus, Regieleki, and what was the other thing I was looking at? Zacian, right? So I can live all 3 of those things. I'm okay. This is a good Moltres. Okay, so let's look at some other stuff. All right, it's time to show how cracked the Calm Mind Kyogre is on this kind of team. So let's imagine Kyogre, and let's again imagine Life Orb, Thunderous, Dynamax, Max Lightning actually doesn't kill, right? If we have Reflect up, it actually doesn't kill. We can actually live the Max Lightning. Now, granted, this is a lot of damage, but hey, we stall out a turn of Max. All right, we get a little bit of leftovers recovery. I don't think Kyogre's taking a second one, obviously, but yo, if we can stall out that, you know, potential last turn of Max, get something in, and then just, you know, potentially sweep him from there, because Thunderous outside of Max is like kind of garbage, then yeah, all the more power to us. So I do like that a lot. And then if we max, this Thunderous is just not, it can't even do 50%. So, you know, very bulky Kyogre lives to tail to tail. Okay, so I do like this a lot. Let's look at stuff like Regieleki also, and then we'll show you like Rillaboom. But yeah, Regieleki back to standard Regieleki set. Let's keep it Magnet. Actually, let's go Life Orb. Let's do Life Orb, just because that's what a lot of Lekis like to run. So you can see Thunderbolt does a lot of damage, but then with Light Screen or a Calm Mind boost, it's still fine. And then, you know, if you Dynamax it and they chip you with that, look how little Thunderbolt does. It's kind of funny. If you have Light Screen and a Spadef boost from either Calm Mind or Max Quake, you know, it does a lot, but not a whole lot. It's still a 2-hit KO after like leftovers recovery, which is really, really nice. Actually, it could be guaranteed 3. Could be guaranteed 3 afterwards, right? So that's very, very nice to know. Yeah, I mean, the last one I want to look at is like Rillaboom stuff. You know, Venusaur you could look at, but like you have so much bulk, you'll be all right. Let's look at a standard Rillaboom set. Let's see. Let's just go this one. All right, Adamant, Miracle Seed, 252 Rillaboom. Grassy Glide actually only still has a roll without anything. No Reflect, no Intimidate. All right, with Reflect and Intimidate, Grassy Glide maybe can do a little bit more than 70, but you're still living. Wood Hammer is the issue, but again, you have options. If you have like a Steel Spike boost along with Reflect, then you live the Wood Hammer, which is very, very nice considering that. And then not all Rillabooms have Wood Hammer. Some of them also, even if they have it, they're Assault Vest, so that takes away from their damage. And if I Dynamax, you know, again, Wood Hammer, it'd probably do more damage to yourself, if anything, which is really, really good to know. So like this Ogre is like so bulky if we Dynamax it after like a couple Combine boosts. But yeah, I do like this. I very much like this. So those are the Kyogre stuff. And again, when you're team building, this is the stuff you have to do. You got to make your spreads, hit your bumps, hit your speed tiers, and then go into the damage calc and say, okay, do I live this or do I not? If I don't live it, then let me adjust the EV spreads where I can live it, and then I'll plan accordingly, right? You can't just go into Showdown and say, all right, I'm ready to go. 252 spreads, let's do it. No. I never once did that. All right, maybe when I was first starting, but yeah, I always like to go into the damage cards just to like get some insider information. Like, can I live this? Can I not? Should I even bother testing it? You know, that kind of thing. So it's always important. Okay, Yveltal and Eternatus. All right, this is gonna be like the guy at Worlds, and he's just gonna bring this duo and say, you know what, I'm winning this whole thing. All right, so Yveltal Eternatus is an interesting duo. It is very playable, and I think I should do this for a team building video, either like the end of this month or in August. I like to see how this combo works, but I don't know if I would do it like this, but this is still a pretty good team. He's got Whimsicott, the wrong Prankstermon, for tailwind stuff, and a lot of offensive pressure here with the Regieleki and Eternatus, and I would assume that Yveltal is Assault Vest, right? And then Instant for, you know, just doing instant things, and I would imagine Finny is there, you know, just for like Amoonguss shenanigans, all right, or you know, for like Palkia stuff. Okay, so that being said, I think Trick Room looks very, very nice here. I do like Grimmsnarl also to slow him down a little bit. Like Grimmsnarl actually does very well into like the Eternatus and the Yveltal. So I do like this. I also like, believe it or not, I do like Solgaleo on this, just because you can Steel Spike and Quake a lot of things here. He's got 3 things weak to Max Quake, and none of them like to take a Steel Spike except the Incineroar here. So I do believe this is a Max Solgaleo game, and then Kyogre can just like kind of benefit off of that and just help out, right? So I think that's the team that we're gonna go with, and just Amoonguss for redirection support. Like, I'm not gonna be clicking, you know, Spore when there's a Finny here. So here we go. The goal is to set up Trick Room. He goes Finny and Whimsicott. Why? I'm not sure. But this is just a very easy Trick Room for me. Can't really stop this. And again, he's chipping the Amoonguss. That's totally fine by me. There's the Seed Bomb. Look how much that did to Affinity. That's pretty nice. And he does have Citrus, but that's okay. There's our Trick Room. So now we got that set up. Now we can just switch out into Ogre, recover HP on our Amoonguss, Dynamax Solgaleo, pass on these boosts onto Ogre, so this way we can have that extra bulk later in the end game. I want to get rid of the Finny now. I wanted to Quake it, but I was scared of the switch into Yveltal there, and so, you know, I don't want to risk that. So better yet, just play it safe and just fully utilize these Dynamax turns off as Solgaleo. And there's the Yveltal, right? So that's what I was afraid of if he, you know, pivoted. So this could be his max mod. Now, again, I'm not like so afraid because I do have Trick Room. I'm very slow on the Ogre, so that's also good. Now, here we go. He maxes, that's fine. This is where, like, in Trick Room, like, you see how I can go before the Yveltal and get off these Calm Mind boosts. You know, just in case if he goes for, like, Max Darkness special defense drops, you know, we're still okay and we can keep our special attack boost and then be aggressive next turn. If he goes for the Solgaleo, he goes for the Solgaleo, but I think he's scared to do that because he might consider that we have the weakness policy. And I was correct. And there's the Max Darkness. So he removes the special defense we get from the Calm Mind, but that's okay. We hit him right back with the Max Steel Spike, so that's very nice. Okay, now here's our leftovers recovery, and unfortunately we do miss with the Origin Pulse, so that's not great. I'm pretty sure that would have KO'd the Yveltal, but we do live on the Kyogre. This is why you run bulky Kyogre, and there's another Steel Spike, so we're doing okay. We've chipped a lot of things here. We got one more turn of Trick Room. The Whimsicott does finish me off, but this is where we go into Grimmsnarl here. And start setting up that screens and for this potential endgame. There's my light screen. He does go again. You know, I could have protected here, but, you know, because once he saw that I wasn't weakness policy, that's probably what he was going to do. I didn't have to take that damage, but I still wanted to be aggressive on my last turn of Trick Room, and then, you know, just go for like something like a Sunsteel Strike and just KO it. Because like next turn, then I have to go into Amoonguss and then try and Spirit Break the Yveltal, but I'm gonna die anyway if he goes for Moonblast. So that line wasn't really like optimal, so I just had to like outbulk the damage, in my opinion. Alright, and now we know all he has left is something like an Eternatus or a Regieleki, which is new to me. So I went for Scary Face on the account that, you know, he thinks, okay, look, I'm faster already, I don't need to go for Tailwind, I'm just gonna go for something like a Thunderbolt and just try and kill the Solgaleo, but, you know, hello, we clicked Scary Face, and now he's not faster. And now we have Earthquake. He did crit my Grimmsnarl, by the way, behind screens. And now we just remove everything. And he wasn't even sashed. I would assume the sash was on the Whimsicott. So, you know, again, we had the Amoonguss in the back. Like, he's not going to beat the Amoonguss. So I think we were fine either way going for a play like that. Because if he goes for the Solgaleo, then it's Grimmsnarl Amoonguss in the end game. We're going to win that end game. And if he goes for the Grimmsnarl, then, you know, I'm pretty sure I get an Amoonguss, and then Solgaleo is still fine with the Amoonguss there. Okay, so again, you saw how we pivoted in the Ogre. You saw the Calm Mind stuff. You saw how we passed on the boost. You saw what Grimmsnarl can do. And now let's see if we can use the other mon, the Moltres. Okay, so this is actually kind of funny. So if there was a point in ladder where like you had to use Mewtwo, this would be it. And this is like a perfect game for Moltres. That being said, I do like his team. Like, you know, it's got Mewtwo, which is like not a great restricted. You might as well just run Calyrex, but he's got like Indeedee stuff here. Now, the thing you can do with Mewtwo, that being said, that Calyrex can't do is Mewtwo gets Hurricane, and Hurricane is accurate in the rain, and you get Max Airstream on top of that. So you know what? I might want to build that Mewtwo Kyogre. What you can do is like put a Dark move on the Mewtwo, go for special defense drops, and then Kyogre can all of a sudden hit hard. So there's no reason why you can't do this, right? I think I'll do that for like a team building video. Why not? At this point, why not? You might as well. But anyway, I digress. Back to this. So very fast team that he has. You know, this just means like Moltres has to like come here, and then we'll rely on the bulky mons later. But I'm gonna go with Solgaleo Grimmsnarl first just to see what he does, and it is Mewtwo Indeedee. So again, you know, Solgaleo's kind of good here because we're physical and we can do a lot of damage into everything here. So he goes for Aura Sphere. Why he did that, I don't know. But there's my Trick Room. I wanted to slow him down. Here's the Moltres pivot. All right, I go for the Earthquake. You see the synergy there with Moltres. And again, we're just not going to be taking any damage here. Aura Sphere is just not doing anything. So there's the Kyogre. Obviously, he doesn't want the Mewtwo to die just yet. But again, Fiery Rat, spread damage. Earthquake, spread damage. And there goes his Indeedee. There goes his redirection support. And again, we have Light Screen support as well. And here comes Mewtwo again. That's fine. This is where we can match Solgaleo here and just, you know, start passing off these boosts. There's the Origin Pulse. Again, now the Moltres is in range of Berserk. We go for the Quake. We give it another special defense boost, which is good against the Mewtwo in the end game. Expanding Force just doesn't do a whole lot. You know, I expected the Dark move on the Mewtwo, and I'm sad to see that this player did not have the Dark move, because then he could have probably exerted a lot more pressure, given that if he had the Dark move, but he does not. So here's the Seismitoad. Again, this is a physical Seismitoad, which is totally fine. We have Grimmstar on the back, and he can only kill one thing here. Either he goes for the Moltres or the Solgaleo. I think we'll be okay either way. And he goes for the Quake, so he gets rid of the Solgaleo. He keeps the Moltres on the field. But now you see what happens. We get the Grimmsnarl in. We can click Reflect. We've already gone, you know, a defense boost on it. I can protect it and then, you know, just survive another turn. You know, here it is. Reflect. Geyser, that does nothing. We're still fine, and he's just losing damage over time. So there's the forfeit. And again, what we would do next turn is we can just, if anything, switch it out, click Scary Face, slow him down even more, just so that he doesn't get like the full benefit of rain, because you see he only has like 1 turn of rain left. So I could have just played it safe, switched out the Moltres, slowed it down. He doesn't have any more speed, and then, you know, next turn just, you know, beat him again with the Moltres or the Grimmsnarl. He can't even break the Grimmsnarl at this point. But yeah, so good game from Moltres. You see the value of it, and I know these are just like, you know, a couple low ladder games on the alt account, but you know, it still can do very, very well, because we got a lot of good synergy on the team. We got a lot of good options. And that being said, let's look at those options one last time in the Pokepaste. So here it is, folks. I do like the 6. I have to like try and make a rental. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't have any more slots. I might as well just wait till August to make this rental, which would be a nice way to end the format with a rental like this. You have the Solgaleo and the Kyogre. Not bad there. Of course, we're going to put out other rentals as well, but this is a cool team to try and use at this point in Series 12. We got a couple more cool teams to try and use. You know, not like super sweaty tryhard. Again, they're still going to be consistent, of course, but they're not like super meta defining, to say the least, but they're still kind of cool. All right, and again, if you like how we do our team builds like this, check out coaching, where you as a viewer with a tier 2 sub, you're able to submit a Pokepaste to me, and I can fix it up and optimize it based on how I see fit in the meta at the moment. Or we can do it like this with a tier 3 sub, where you and I, we sit down in a Discord call and we build the team from scratch, hashing out all the EVs, the items, and the movesets, and you know, and then we play a couple games with it a little bit, right? If we have time. So definitely take a look at that. Again, that's all in the video description, where you can see our tier perks. So if you're interested, take a look at that. But we'll be back with another Series 12 video in the next one, guys. Peace out. Have a good day.